Hey, what up? Jim here. So, a lot of times you guys see me doing really big dents. To be honest, that's more for attention than anything. If you're watching these videos, chances are you might not be ready for that. A lot of what you're working on is going to be smaller stuff, like this.
Hey, what up, y'all? This is your friendly neighborhood voiceover. Today we are looking at this dent here. Now, there's a light crease in the bottom of that, so it's not necessarily an absolute beginner dent. It also has the hem included, and I'm going to teach you how to knock that hem down as clean as possible. A lot of times there's still a shadow left, but 99% of the time your customer will never see it, and I think this one came out pretty clean.
It's important to learn how to fix these first before you move on to the bigger stuff. So I'm going to give you a step-by-step on how to get this out. I'm going to assume that you know to use a window guard. I'm going to assume you know how to use a window wedge. I will show you what tools I'm using. Let's get going.
Tools today are quite simple. That is the little red Reaper. That's a Dent Reaper tool with the A1 ratcheting handle system on it, a Talon window wedge, and just a regular window guard. They're actually coming out with a smaller Reaper. Ask me how I know that. Go check out Dent Tools Freak here on YouTube. That's also me. You can catch me on John Hiley's podcast monthly. If you're brand spanking new to this PDR thing, check out how I have my lights set up. I have it set up so you, in the camera, can see that there is a shaded area right there in the middle, and that is our low spot. So that's what we're targeting whenever we're pushing with this tool. The Dent Reaper is a very, very sharp tool. So what you want to do is you want to take your time. You will push softer just knowing how sharp it is, but a good sharp tool on a dent like this can make your dent come out supremely clean. One mistake that some trainers make, and I hate to call it other trainers, is they try to teach you a system of where to be pushing when. The real way to do this is just find your lowest spot and bring it up. You want the entire dent to come out as one unit. The problem with the spiral technique, working your way from the outside in, is that it's fine for small, shallower dents like this, but it is a great way to jack up some really big damage like you've seen me do. How are you gonna know what the lowest part of the dent is? They are the darkest. They are catching the hardest shadow. Now, you do want to keep in mind that I am viewing this dent from a different angle than you. The camera is mounted underneath me, and I am just trying to work around it. So right now, from this angle, you can see at the very top of the dent, I'll probably poke it here soon, right up there, yep, is the darkest, therefore the deepest. Let's focus on that and try to get it up. Now, don't over push it. Again, this thing needs to come out as a unit. If your dent is traveling one way or another, for instance, this one is going up and down, you want to have your light moving parallel with it. That's going to give you the best view on the dent. You do not want a perpendicular light. You're not going to see what you're aiming for. I'm sorry, there's a whole lot of information to shove in a very short amount of time that it took to repair this, so I'm going to try to talk a little bit fast. Keep in mind, this, again, one more time, is a very sharp tool. So the last thing I want to do is get very aggressive and twist hard. That brings me to another point. With this tool, I am actually using the heel of my hand to twist it. It's not a pushing kind of motion, it is definitely a twisting kind of motion. And that's what you're gonna see with most door tools. So because this dent had a small crease in it, I am really making sure that I am pinpointing the bottom of that crease. If I were to pick up all around it, what's gonna happen is the crease is going to appear to be deeper than it is. I'm gonna lock that crease in and it's gonna be hard to get it out. This is where accuracy is gonna come into play. So hopefully you have had a chance to maybe even go to a scrapyard, get a hood, put some small dents in it. You should be able, by this point that you're working on something like this, to pinpoint the very end of your tool. Let's demystify PDR for 1 minute. It is a game of accuracy, patience, and trying to understand and predict the way that metal will move. So at this point, I have the majority of the dent up. So it's not up to the point that I would like it. It still needs to come to the panel height. Also, at this time, I'm keeping in mind that that hem is still pressed up against the outer. So what happens there is the inner panel gets bent in to the outer. So I'm trying to make sure that I am picking up along the edge because that's gonna give a little space for the metal to move when I decide to knock down that hem. Okay, maybe I had a little more time than I thought in this video, but hey, if you get a chance, a real fun thing to do, if you have the capability, is reverse this video. I don't know why it's so satisfying to see a dent come back, but it's pretty cool. Go ahead and try it. Okay, enough of that nonsense. Let's get back to learning how to do this thing. So I am going to eventually, after I pick this up to my satisfaction, go ahead and start knocking down that hem. The tool that I'm gonna use for that is an Anson Tequila PDR knockdown with a pirate leg tip from Dave Screen and Edgy Tools. The reason I choose that knockdown tip for this situation is that it's extremely accurate. It's got a much narrower head, and the problem with knocking these hems down is accuracy is so key. If you miss one way or another, you cause an almost impossible to repair low spot. The only way to pick that up, if it does happen, is to snake a super thin whale tail as far as you can into that hem and then try to accurately, which is the tough part, hit those little micro lows that you made. Pro tip here, if you are having problem getting the hem to move at all, I'm getting ready to start my knocking down process here, but if you can't get it to move at all, go ahead and get to the back side of that panel, and with something that's not gonna chip the paint, knock the edge of the panel back outwards. Now, so what that's gonna do is it's gonna make that inner come in more. And basically create a small gap between the outer panel, which is what we all see, and that's what gets dented, and the inner. A really phenomenal purpose-built tool for that is the Edgy Hookers. Go ahead and look them up on edgytools.com. So I'm gonna speed this video up twice now. So what to keep in mind when you're knocking down these hemlines is small movements. Do not try to get everything down at once. You're trying to create a very slow, gradual knockdown here. If you're the most accurate person in the world with a knockdown, that might not be that important, but the chances are you are not. So this is gonna mitigate whatever mistakes you make. If you do get a little bit off, it's not gonna be an end of the world kind of damage-causing incident like it could be if you were hitting it hard. If you look very, 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 very closely, you will see that this pirate peg leg is indeed causing small marks on this paint. Now, a good high-quality knockdown, any kind of marks that it makes is going to be something that can be wiped off with some compound, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. Also, with this dent, there were some crowns. They're not immediately obvious, but once you pick up the panel, and you'll get a good feel about what is flat and what is not. You could definitely see that there were some slight crowns, and I'm going to take care of those with a blending hammer. Again, I would like to say that everybody should be somewhat proficient with a blending hammer. It's going to make things a lot quicker for you. It's also going to be able to help you clean up your repairs and do it quickly. Here I am wiping off those little marks that edgy tip and made on the panel. That's very uncommon for those edgy tips, but there is no give to that panel where those hems meet. So it's to be expected. Don't freak out about it. Just put some compound on the rag and it wipes right off. Coming up soon, I'm going to start skipping sections of this repair. It's basically the same thing over and over again, just using that pirate peg leg tip from Edgy Tools to slowly knock down that hem. Again, the focus that you want to maintain here is that you have to be extremely accurate. One way or, wow, did I just say accurate? Weird. Accurate. One way or another with that knockdown, and you're going to cause a real severe micro low that is incredibly difficult to pick up. Okay, big chunk skip there, and as you can see, it's gone down significantly. I am going slow, just a little bit at a time. This one I did not have to knock the backside of that door out to cause any, to make any space. It seemed to move okay by itself. Next up on the agenda, I'm gonna go ahead and try to knock down a little bit of those crowns. They're very minor, probably don't matter in the grand scheme of things, but for the sake of doing a proper repair, we're gonna go ahead and nab them. So if you're not seeing exactly what you wanna see, it's because I am holding this camera in my left hand while trying to blend with my right. It definitely ups the difficulty factor here a little bit, and I did the best I could. So, you know, don't give me no hate mail, you're welcome. Once all those slight highs are knocked down, this repair is going to be finito. No more, no mas. It is something that probably took 20 minutes, didn't have to take that long, but making these videos slows me down a bit. But check it out, here comes an after, and there's another still photo. Hey, whenever you get to a point that you feel comfortable, always post your afters in video. It's so easy to hide things in still shots, and it's obnoxious to people who know what the hell they're doing. That's a Sal Contreras thing, and I have embraced it, and it's only made me a better tech. As a veteran myself, eventually this channel will probably be geared towards veterans just getting out of the military, looking for career options. But man, I really appreciate you guys supporting this channel. I got 10 views in the first 10 minutes. The last video was up, and it means the world to me. Thank you. All right, I'm back home in the mess of a garage. Hey, I have gotten some really great feedback from some of the members of this group. It means a lot to me. I do this just because I love seeing you guys succeed. Now, there is training available, but that's not really the point here. I really hope that I'm helping. If there's anything that you want to see, I had one guy say that he wants to see the proper use of some stand liner tools, and we'll get to that for sure. If there's anything that you need that I have missed, I've glossed over, please, please, please do not hesitate to get a hold of me. And that's denttoolsfreak@gmail.com. Also check out the Dent Tools Freak YouTube channel, Facebook page. We're giving away stuff all the time. And you can find me on John Hiley's podcast once a month. All kinds of cool stuff happening. Anyways, thank you so much, guys, and I will see you on the next one.